This is Tim, still in the US as you're hearing this, but shortly leaving for my usual stomping grounds in Tokyo. This week, a discussion of that overstuffed film Spider-Man 3 from 2007, recorded by Mulele and me for our Patreon 5 years ago. This episode was originally published on Patreon on May 23rd, 2020, and you'll hear it right after this. This podcast is part of the Deconstructing Comics Network, where we're grateful to our supporters on Patreon. Patrons get exclusive extra content. Pledge $2 a month or more and get Batman 66 podcast Bat Bits, where we've recently gone over an early draft of Rick Vollard's script for As the Bookworm Turns, and we'll be digging into a variety of documents from the files of William Dozier, producer of Batman and the Green Hornet, including his correspondence with Bruce Lee and more Season 1 Batman scripts. At $4 a month, you also get our monthly show Silver Age Batman, where I'm moving through the book Batman in the 50s issue by issue with a rotating second chair of Paul, Emmett, Patrick, or Kumar. Follow our Patreon for free and you can hear the first 2 episodes of both Bat Bits and Silver Age Batman. Check it out at patreon.com/deconcomics, and thanks for your support. Welcome to Tim and Mulele reviewing superhero movies on Patreon. This is Tim, and hi Mulele. He's on Skype with me.
Hello. We're changing the title again?
I don't know what the title is anymore. But, I mean, it's not really catching up with the MCU because we did that already, and this is not really an MCU movie. This is Spider-Man 3 this time, from 2007.
Well, I've got a little comment about that.
All right.
This is not, I guess, MCU canon because it's starring Tobey Maguire and it has kind of a different setup. But at a certain point, Kevin Feige is going to step off of the MCU. Age is the enemy of all people. Mm-hmm. And once he's done, and if this MCU continues, then they'll start rebooting stuff. Mm-hmm. And once they start rebooting stuff, then eventually someone's going to come along and say, hey, it doesn't matter really. It's all fake anyway. So just, choose the one you like and roll with it. And at that point, every superhero comic that has ever been done from a Marvel character will be part of the MCU.
Yeah, I can see how they might try to. I mean, I don't know about the Amazing Spider-Man 2 films, but I can see how they might try to stick this and the 2 MCU Spider-Man movies together and say it's the same guy. Although his costume somehow got worse before he met Tony Stark.
Yeah. The Hulk movies. Mm-hmm. Are they part of the MCU?
The second one is. We skipped it when we were going through our MCU. We might want to go back and watch both of them for our Patreon series here. But yeah, the second one is considered an MCU movie.
I don't remember the first one being incredibly good. I remember liking some of the comic booky elements of the filmmaking, but the Hulk dogs and the story itself and some of the CGI and the fact that Ang Lee decided that he would be the Hulk is a little bit weird. I mean, there are shots of him in a motion capture suit pretending to be Hulk, and it's like, should have given that to Eric Bana. But anyway, yeah, right. We'll wreck that train when we come to it. But the point is, it's kind of hard to know what is canon or not canon, and my comment references one of the I think it's the head of the Star Wars writers' room, something or other, made a comment that, hey, everything is everything, and you can choose what you like. It's all fake anyway.
Mm.
And which really upset a lot of the fans. But he's kind of right, or at least what he's remarking on kind of shows the mechanism for what it is. It shows Hollywood for what it is. Mm-hmm. Star Wars was not really a Hollywood thing. It was a George Lucas thing. Mm-hmm. And there have been times when it's been called his films have been called the biggest independent movies of all time, like big budget independent movies. Mm-hmm. But at this point, no, they're very much a part of the Hollywood machinery. And to that point, these last couple have been kind of standardized. Mm-hmm. And so I think to a certain extent, we'll begin to see that once Feige is gone with the Marvel films.
Yeah, I'm afraid it could be the equivalent of when Steve Jobs died and Apple products became a little bit less reliable than they had been. Yeah. Steve Jobs was a visionary, whereas the new guy, Tim Cook, is from procurement, which means he takes orders. But if he's given orders, it's more along the lines of, well, we got a thing, let's sell the fuck out of it. And that's what they do. No new products since Steve Jobs. Apple Watch. It's an iPhone on your wrist.
Yeah, I think that was Steve Jobs' nod to Dick Tracy, but that's about it. I think that thing was in the works when Steve Jobs was still alive, but nothing new at Apple, and it's creatively bankrupt. Has been for a while.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the Apple Discussion Podcast. Spider-Man 3. Okay. So I was 90 minutes into this movie and I said, how many acts does this movie have?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't try to break it down, but it did seem like there were more than 3. And I mean, I'm fine with going against formula. The word formula kind of makes my skin crawl anyway, and I didn't necessarily dislike this movie, but at the same time, it just felt like they crammed in too much, and it was a little too long, and some of the scenes kind of dragged.
Yeah, that I felt that too. But did you like it?
I guess I liked aspects of it. I don't know. Okay. So I listened to iFanboy's review from the time. This was the first. So they started their podcast just weeks before we started ours in 2005.
Oh, okay.
So this was the first of the Spider-Man movies that they had reviewed on the podcast. And Josh on there had maybe my reaction too. Do you like it or not? I don't know.
Okay.
Now, they, like you, and unlike me, are more versed in Sam Raimi movies.
Right.
And they felt like it seemed like more of a Sam Raimi movie than they had expected or that they had thought would be allowed on a property like this. What do you think?
I saw a lot of Sam Raimi-isms in the first one, and maybe a little bit less in the second one. This third one, I'm not exactly sure what to think, because in the first one, you can see Sam Raimi reaching above his station. Until then, he had kind of license to be goofy, but he wanted to kind of go serious on this one, or at least, give it his best consideration rather than doing his usual shtick. And then in number 2, the story was really good, and somehow he knocked it out of the park. There weren't things that were... I think we mentioned this during the podcast review of the first one, or I think I mentioned it, that there seemed to be a lot of parts that were kind of grabbed from other films, especially Tim Burton style bits from Batman. And I can still feel a little bit of that, but in the first one, he learned a lot, and you can see him learning. And the second one, I think you could see him really hit his stride. And the story was good, the script was good, and he just knocked it out of the park. I think it was really well done. And the third one, I think he was getting a little bit tired with it. I think the studio was beginning to mess with it creatively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite famous at the time that, especially after the box office was a little bit more disappointing, the reviews were down, and everybody's like, "What happened? Spider-Man 2 was so good." And I think a lot of people had your reaction. Not sure if I like this one. Not sure that I hate it either, but And kind of what I felt was all of the elements of a good story are there. The fact that Peter Parker and what's his name?
Harry.
Yeah, they've got a kind of, they're at odds over Mary Jane. They're at odds over Harry's father, and there's kind of a lie that Harry believes that has to be set right, and then they have to come together to defeat the two villains. So it's basically the two stories kind of have to cross on multiple levels to complete itself.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's kind of good in its setup. But the execution was kind of weird, and there were some really overdone, really long things that you kind of didn't need. Now, the bit where Peter Parker becomes bad, starts trying to date Gwen Stacy, which is really weird. That was a little too long, and she was there. Why?
Yeah, I had trouble figuring out why she was even in this movie, other than just because she's a character from Spider-Man comics. Now, I guess there had been plans for a Spider-Man 4, and I don't know what they might have been planning to do with her in that. They might have been trying to set something up. But yeah, just in terms of this movie, so she and her father both have been were in the comics and died within a few issues of each other back in the about 1970 or so. And because of that, they're both kind of talked about in rather reverent tones by Spider-Man fans. And so to just kind of toss them in here felt a little weird when it had nothing to do with any storyline they were involved in the comics.
Yeah, it does give it kind of a kitchen sink feel.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, Sam Raimi actually really wanted to involve the Vulture. I don't know if it was on top of these two villains.
Well, but, no, I guess so. He wanted, they decided on Sandman. They wanted another villain, and he was looking at the classic ones and was thinking about Vulture. And I guess they were talking with Ben Kingsley about playing the Vulture.
Ben Kingsley,
yeah,
jeez.
And then Wikipedia doesn't say why, but just the character was cut. And then Avi Arad, who's the producer, I believe, convinced Raimi to use Venom. And Raimi was kind of talked in, okay, the Venom's kind of cool. And years later, both of them regretted it because Venom fans weren't happy with how that character was used. Arad said, "I think we learned that Venom is not a sideshow." They guess they the fans of the character thought that he got short shrift here. I mean, Venom just did feel kind of wedged in. I mean, in a way, okay, I'll get to my thought about it. In a way, he's crucial, and in a way, he's just an extra layer. I mean, I see two different ways of looking at him here. But yeah, so when they were throwing all this together, and then we had Gwen Stacy and her father, and the screenwriter Alvin Sargent found the script getting so complex that he thought about actually breaking it into two films.
Mm.
But the reason he didn't was that he couldn't find a good way to end the first one if he broke it in two. There was no kind of natural climax there. So it just stayed as one big film.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. Two films, and not even two films. These two stories. The one with what's his name, Eddie Brock, the Sandman.
Now Eddie Brock is the other photographer who becomes
no.
Venom.
Which one is the Sandman?
Sandman is what I want is Marco.
Okay, well, anyway, Sandman didn't need to be in this story. He added nothing to it, but his story is so nicely done, and I liked the actor.
Mm-hmm.
I felt for his situation, but none of his situation gets resolved. We don't really know what the problem is with his daughter, if she's going to live or die.
Yeah, his situation really gets short shrift too. In Roger Ebert, when Roger Ebert reviewed it, he pointed out that we never find out really how Sandman even feels about getting his powers, let alone any of his other backstory. I mean, he does say at the end that he didn't ask for it, but we could have we need more detail there, I think.
Yeah, because what we've given makes us feel like he's comically inept and doesn't quite understand the world. Mm-hmm. But basically, his story isn't necessary, and to actually revisit the Uncle Ben thing.
Well,
and
on a Spider-Man fan level, that's unforgivable.
What, to revisit?
Well, to say that the guy who ran past Pete, or Spider-Man in the hallway, and Spidey didn't stop him. To say that guy didn't directly kill Uncle Ben sort of removes the whole justification for Pete becoming Spider-Man as a crime fighter.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely right. But the whole thing is unnecessary. It doesn't add to Spider-Man in any way. The idea that he forgives the guy who shot Uncle Ben, and the only thing of consequence really is the fact that Venom made Parker evil, and he had to deal with that. That would have been a nice story by itself. So the Eddie Brock, the Sandman stuff did not need to be there. It could have been cut completely, and you would have had a much tighter, much more interesting film. Perhaps it would have seemed a little bit more like Villain of the Week, but you've got all the stuff with what's his name?
With Harry.
With Harry to resolve. So you still could have had that kind of ending. Because you've got Harry, you've got Mary Jane, you've got Peter Brock? No. Harry Brock. Eddie Brock. Sorry. None of these names mean anything to me. You got Eddie Brock and you've got Peter Parker. You've got those four main characters, and that's enough. Adding another one really was the thing that kind of tipped it. And yeah, none of the stories get quite resolved. Even the ending of the film where Mary Jane and Peter kind of come to forgive each other for all the shit that just happened was really unsatisfying. It's like, okay, there's maybe they're going to make it, but it kind of feels like it's so baggage laden that.
Yeah, it's so vague. Like,
so
do they get back together, or are they just friends now? Or
well, it's kind of the assumption, but it's like, man, I don't know if I'd want to like really. Maybe I'd like to try the landlord's daughter for a while and just see who I am with another person, rather than go back to this stuff. Yeah, there's too much there.
Yeah, well, getting back to what you were just saying about the Harry aspect, yeah, I thought if you look at the three films as a trilogy, and this is supposed to be resolving the story with Harry, having these two other villains in it seems to kind of push that aside. I mean, they have to give Harry amnesia for a while so that they can have time for the other villains. It felt kind of artificial. Like, okay, we'll just bonk him on the head and make him forget for an hour, so that for that time, Sandman can be the main thing.
Yeah, that's kind of cheap. And what would have been really interesting is if when Mary Jane had come over and tried to lean in for a kiss, if Harry had said, "No, you and Peter. That's the thing, and I'm not about to do that." It would have put a really interesting dynamic on the whole thing, but instead we're revisiting something that we had kind of resolved in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? Why though? Anyway.
Yeah, well, and the way that the characters communicate is so kind of frustrating. It's like watching a bad soap opera where the characters just don't say the important information that would just resolve everything.
Okay, wait a minute. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, like, why the heck does Mary Jane just sort of pass on telling Peter that she got fired from her Broadway show? I mean, why would she withhold that information? I mean, I guess it becomes a plot point in her being more interested in Harry, which isn't actually the case, apparently. But just tell Pete. And Pete's going on and on in the French restaurant scene, and I thought I wanted to tell Mary Jane, just tell him to shut up and say what you need to say to him.
Interesting. Now, there was a commentary on, and sorry to bring up Star Wars twice in one podcast, not dealing with Star Wars.
Not for the first time.
Yeah. There was this thing, this female character who was privy to some information that would have helped the good guys. The fact that she didn't mention any of this stuff, she just kind of kept it to herself, seems to be like a pivotal mistake in her life and fucked up the main characters quite a bit. And someone commented that, well, sometimes, I think it was a woman who said this, sometimes women just don't say. They just let it ride for a minute. And I thought, okay.
Which movie was this?
This was actually for the Clone Wars.
Okay.
Season 7.
Clone Wars.
Yeah. Never heard of it?
Oh, that series. Okay, the TV show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I have to say, I'll say it, third best Star Wars film.
Okay. After what, 4 and 5?
After 5 and 4.
5 and 4.
And Jedi can go kick rocks. But that's another discussion. Anyway, so this thing with Mary Jane not mentioning it, I can kind of see it, but at the same time, it's frustrating because maybe for guys, we're just more straight up. Okay, I got a thing I got to say because, you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
I got fired from my job. But I don't know, maybe she's a little more complex that way. But anyway, you're right. The communication in this film is awful.
Mm-hmm.
And every time they learn something new, it kind of destroys the other person because of the way they say it, the way the message is relayed.
iFanboy had an interesting point on this, or an idea. I'm not completely sure if I agree with it, but they thought that the chemistry between Maguire and Dunst was terrible. That the two actors just didn't go together well. I don't know if they're under-blaming the writing there. I didn't necessarily feel that the two actors were the problem, but I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I kind of feel like everybody was tired. Like not the actors, but just the production staff, the writing. Everybody was kind of, again, okay, and I kind of felt like they didn't want to do it, but they did it because that was expected. Because I mean the writing is bloated. The direction is competent, but at the same time the editing is off. And maybe it stems from the fact that the script is unwieldy. The actors are maybe getting tired. Yeah, I just didn't feel it. Oh, and that third act. By the way, sir, I've seen a lot of things in this house that I have never spoken about. That was bullshit. Um,
Yeah, he sure waited a long time to clear up the whole thing that was driving the conflict in Spider-Man 2.
yeah, I cleaned your father's wounds, sir, on the night that he died. It was dumb, and I don't know the person who was in the role. He
Mm.
seemed like a non-actor,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if he's someone special to someone, um, and that's how he got the role. But why?
Yeah, he did seem kind of awkward as an actor. I see if I can find out who that was. I don't even know what the character's name is. Butler? Yeah. Oh, here we go. John Paxton. The role is Houseman.
Houseman.
Yeah, that looks like him. He was in Spider. Okay, he was. I guess he'd been in all three of the Spider-Man movies in that role. He'd done some other acting over the years, not a ton of it. Not even one movie a year. But yeah, I
Right.
mean,
Oh,
apparently
wait,
he
wait.
was
No, he's Bill Paxton's father.
okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And apparently he was in Simple Plan, starring Bill Paxton and directed by Sam Raimi in
Mm,
1998.
okay.
Um, but it looks like he's been in a lot of stuff, a lot of like bad stuff. But
Okay.
maybe
Oh,
he had failing health, which made him wooden. I don't know.
oh, I did not know this. So the 2013 movie Oz the Great and Powerful, which I actually saw, I didn't know that was directed by Sam Raimi,
Yeah.
and John Paxton was in that one too.
Okay. Well,
So
I
he's one of
think,
Raimi's guys, apparently.
yeah, yeah, I guess. But I mean, not an actor. At least not in this film. I um, I wanted to ask you. You're a fan of certain soap operas,
I was a General Hospital viewer for a number of years. Yeah.
but you wouldn't call yourself a fan of soap operas then.
Um, Not really. Just General Hospital was my thing for a while, but I never really. I watched One Life to Live for a few months, but otherwise I never really got into any other shows.
A few months of a soap opera is basically like 5 or 6 seasons of any other show. Um,
True, although soaps tend to move slower than weekly shows.
Interesting. Well, when you say it's very very soap opera, or it's like a bad soap opera, it's like
Hmm.
soap operas have always seemed to be intrinsically bad uh, to me. But
Well, there's
hmm,
just you see a lot of scenes like that where if somebody just said the thing that it would clear everything up, but they don't, and so it leads to conflict and whatever, and it's just annoying. And that would happen on General Hospital sometimes too.
hmm.
But
Okay.
hmm.
Now, one last bit here, because I guess we're kind of done with the
No, no, no,
nitpicking.
no, 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 no,
Oh,
no,
you
no.
oh you got more?
I have a big thing to talk about.
Oh, please go ahead.
So I want to talk about my interpretation of this movie.
Oh, excellent.
It's a cautionary tale about the desire for revenge.
Uh-huh.
And the Venom symbiote symbolizes that desire for revenge.
Mm.
And that was tied up for me by Aunt May's line to Peter. When Peter's talking about how Spider Man has killed Sandman and that he thought that she would be happy about that.
What happened?
Spider Man killed him.
Spider-Man? I don't understand. Spider-Man doesn't kill people. What happened?
I, he, he was. I thought that you'd feel he deserved it, didn't he?
I don't think it's for us to say whether a person deserves to live or die.
But Aunt May, he killed Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben meant the world to us, but he wouldn't want us living 1 second with revenge in our hearts. It's like a poison. It can take you over. Before you know it, turn us into something ugly.
Which sounds like a description of Venom.
Right.
As much as it is a description of revenge. And Pete's narration over Harry's funeral also, directly addresses that.
Whatever comes our way, whatever battle we have raging inside us, we always have a choice. My friend Harry taught me that. He chose to be the best of himself. It's the choices that make us who we are, and we can always choose to do what's right.
But when the symbiote is controlling Peter, he's taking kind of pretty vicious revenge on everybody.
Yeah.
On Harry, on Sandman, on Brock, and
even on J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, that's true too. So the Venom controlling him is him taking revenge. It's kind of leading to him taking revenge on people. And then when Brock gets the symbiote, then he wants to take revenge back. And that shows how revenge can be this never-ending cycle. Like, I get revenge on you, and then I do something to you for revenge, and then you want to get revenge on me for what I did to you. And so I felt like actually Venom is more crucial to the film than Sandman is.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I see that. And it could have been a really nice film with just that.
And you could have had something else happen rather than having another villain, or let alone having him be the murderer of Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
So that was my interpretation of the movie, which isn't even borne out by the quotes of Raimi on Wikipedia, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
The quotes of Sam Raimi on Wikipedia.
Well, so what it says on Wikipedia for Raimi's thoughts, he thought that Pete considers himself sinless and superior to the villains that he fights, and he wanted Pete to see that he's not above those people. Now, I'm not sure if that was what the screenwriter was thinking. It's what the director's thinking, but I feel like the screenwriter might have been thinking more about this idea of revenge, because that's what comes through to me in the movie more than Pete kind of being taken down a notch.
Well, I mean, in each film, Pete learns a lesson. Why the director needs to put him in the position to be taken down a notch is kind of weird. Yeah, so I'm kind of with you there. It doesn't quite make sense.
Now, I think if that's the idea of the film, then probably, that's why, and it kind of ties in with Raimi's idea too, that's why Spider-Man forgives Sandman for killing Uncle Ben, because it's the opposite of taking revenge on him. Now, Connor on iFanboy was saying Pete would never forgive Uncle Ben's killer, and I'm not sure if I agree with that or not. Spidey fans can argue about it, but for the intended message of the movie, I think it was important to have that in there.
Sure. But, I mean, in the film, Spider-Man says to Sandman, you've always got a choice. And I don't think Sandman actually took that to heart. He's kind of not and drifts away. So, I don't know. It seems kind of like Peter Parker forgives Sandman for killing Uncle Ben, but Sandman doesn't really give a fuck anyway. And it's like, this was kind of one-sided. And there's no lesson that the bad guy learned. She's like, I didn't want any of this. Lots of people died, but see ya. And Spider-Man's okay with it. It is just a really, when you break it down, it really just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the communication in this film, I think, is key. No one has communication here.
Mm-hmm.
Even the villains at the end are all on different pages, and no one learns anything. And Spider-Man tries to feign learning something, but he doesn't really.
Mm.
So my question at the end of this is, how does this film make you feel about the franchise as a whole and moving forward with Spider-Man movies?
So, yeah, another point that I saw made that I hadn't really thought about, but is definitely true, is there was hardly any humor in this movie. And you know, Spider-Man, there needs to be some humor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can understand the idea of doing this movie about desire for revenge and everything. I'm not sure that it exactly fits the character or the property. I mean, maybe you could have done one on that theme that fit Spider-Man a little better than this one. Now, of course, I've seen the MCU movies, so I know how those go, and I had some problems with, especially Homecoming, but. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not as good a Spider-Man movie as Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, Spider-Man Homecoming and the whole MCU stuff, this predates that. But having seen just these three, would you be down to see another one?
Yeah, well, I mean, considering that they were planning another one, and I don't know, with kind of too many cooks involved in the process by this point, I'm not sure it would have been anything good.
Well, the thing of it is, the license that they have for the Spider-Man characters, actually it's Spider-Man and all the characters from the Spider-Man universe that they have a claim on, reverts back to Marvel if they don't make something within 5 years. So they're kind of locked into making something. So when Spider-Man 4 didn't happen, they decided to reboot.
Right, and so we got The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, so the original plan was that there would be a Spider-Man 4 and then there would be a Venom movie, which of course eventually happened, probably not with the story that it might have had if it had come out, if it had been directed by Sam Raimi.
Oh yeah.
But I assume that they were trying to set that up with Brock's kind of disappearance in this movie. Like, oh, they think he's dead, but actually, but instead that's just kind of a dangling plot line. And I did not see the Venom movie, but I guess it has nothing to do with this.
No, it doesn't. But the Venom film, I think, is another one we should probably watch. I say that because it's painful to watch some of these films, but and I've seen Venom already, and my opinion is rather complete on it. But I'm curious to see your reaction. And it kind of explains a couple of behind the scenes things. I think Sony realized that they didn't need to make a Spider-Man film. They just need to make something from the license that they're holding. Mm-hmm. So it could be a Spider-Man film, and a Spider-Man film or a Venom film or a what's his name, the Hunter film.
Kraven the Hunter. Yeah, they have a name for it, like Sony films involving characters from the Spider-Man universe or some kind of complex name like that. But
Oh, that's terrible.
that's not quite. It's not quite as bad as that, but it was something on that order. And I know that they had talked about some other kind of Spider-Man related characters appearing, like Black Cat, or there was talk about a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie, which would have been kind of a weird combination. But
Yeah, I did hear something about that, but I mean, a lot of these characters don't mean that much to me. So when I see them on film, it's like, okay, what's this? And then I kind of walk away with like, why though? And kind of listening to you kind of discuss the background of it all, it's like, okay, now I understand what it's supposed to be, but that's not what it is. I mean, as a fan watching these films and seeing them fall short, I don't know if it's fair to say seeing them fall short, but like knowing what it was in the comics and then seeing this thing on film, do you feel like, okay, well, I understand what this is referring to, so it makes it better, or do you see the film as just being a pale imitation, or what?
Well, I mean, these three Raimi films, I mean, it feels a little more like Spider-Man to me than the MCU ones did. I think for obvious reasons, because they kind of made it a little bit less like the comics on purpose for those movies because of the whole Sony thing.
Yeah.
Now, 1 and 2, they had occasional problems in terms of kind of faithfulness to the comics, but I thought that they were good as Spider-Man movies, and this one is a little bit less that because of some of the issues I've talked about, the lack of humor and just kind of, I don't know, throwing in characters who don't really need to be here, and various reasons, and just maybe doing things that aren't true to the character. Oh, and mucking with Spider-Man's origin. You just don't do that.
Yeah, that does kind of, after you mentioned it, it's like, oh shit, you're right, they shouldn't have done that.
So, yeah, I mean, it's, as a movie, well, it's overly complex and leaves some things to be desired. As a Spider-Man movie, it had a ways to go to really being a good, a Spider-Man movie. It's not quite a Spider-Man movie, maybe.
Yeah. But seeing this, do you have any hopes or fears for the next Doctor Strange film?
The next Doctor Strange film?
Yeah, it's going to be directed by Sam Raimi.
Oh, I see. Well, I mean, he's going to have Feige looking over his shoulder, presumably. So it might be okay.
This one was executive produced by Feige, so
yeah,
I don't know.
But I'm a little more worried about are there ever going to be any MCU movies again after the coronavirus lays waste to Hollywood?
Well, where there's a will, there's a way. Or actually, I should say with Hollywood, where there's a possibility of profit, there's a way. And so I know they'll try anyway.
Yeah, and will Black Widow ever come out?
Well, they've already made it. It was supposed to drop like this week or something?
A couple weeks ago, I think.
Couple weeks ago. Okay.
It was supposed to be like Golden Week here at the beginning of May, but
okay. Yeah,
but they can't just put it out on streaming, because they have to put it out in a way that they can make back their investment, which means putting it in theaters all over the world.
Yeah. I hear that they're waiting for, or some people are saying that they should wait for an 80% reopening of theaters in major markets in America, like New York and LA. LA may be getting closer towards opening back up, but New York is far from it. Or at least if they do open up, I don't think people are going to show up. This is one of the things. Trump reopened America, but people aren't necessarily jumping in with both feet.
No.
So the economy is still kind of stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have no idea. I hope everything's better eventually. But at the same time, yeah, who's to say?
Okay, so next time we'll talk about The Amazing Spider-Man #1. I'm not sure when that's going to be. It kind of depends on our schedules here, but sometime in June.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for listening, and thank you, Mulele.
Thank you. Bye.
Follow us on Blue Sky at Decon Comics. On Facebook, we have both a page and a group. Those are linked from deconstructingcomics.com, as is our YouTube channel, where our episodes are posted every week as videos of a single image. You can comment on our episodes on YouTube or on our site, or drop us a line at mail@deconstructingcomics.com, or talk to us. Click the Leave a Voicemail link on the left sidebar of our site. What you're hearing now is from Christopher Young's score of Spider-Man 3. The music backing the promotion of our Patreon is Change by Jazar. As I'm putting this show together weeks ahead of its release, I'm not sure what's coming next week and whether it'll be a new show or a flashback episode. But tune in next week for our usual comics discussion. Till then, this is Tim, and thanks for listening.